Ladies, are you ready?
Oh, it's time. Let's go. Yalla.
Okay, let's go.
Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Clock In. I'm Shaima.
I'm Suheir.
And today's topic is quite intense. It's 2025, right? We're taking AI to levels that God only knows where we're going with. We're colonizing Mars. Well, one certain guy is colonizing Mars. He's trying to, right? We're rewriting the future. And yet we're at a point where people are still telling women to stay in lane, right? They like, stay in medicine, but don't go into surgery. All right. Oh, you're funny, great, wonderful, but you don't need to be on stage, right? Want to be bold? Don't be loud. All right? You want to be, don't say something that will upset anyone.
And in today's episode of Clock In, we are going to ask questions. Who decides women's lanes? And why do we have to stay within lanes without even traffic lights or guidelines that tell us you have to go this way or that way? And in order to do this, we are hosting two amazing ladies that are joining us today.
Oh my God! I think that's talking about us.
Told you, amazing ladies.
I don't even know where to go with that. So I'll start with introducing our lovely Talal Alul over here.
That's my daughter.
Bragging rights. Bragging
Definitely.
rights. So Tala is a medical student in her final year of the university. She's actually aspired, she's always wanted to be a surgeon from 4th grade. She dreams of joining Doctors Without Borders and other volunteering, institutions and organizations. And what else did we say?
Mashallah, mashallah, mashallah. That's what we need to say.
And she's actually been in an operating room since she was 16. And don't listen to Suheir if she tells you any stories. She did not participate in the operating room.
She thinks I was doing the actual
my
surgery.
God.
Don't listen to Suheir. Got us all the wrong information about Tala, right? So thank you, Tala, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, guys.
And it's my honor to introduce to you an award-winning artist, okay, and comedian, Mina Liccione.
It was so close. It was so close. It was so good. Liccione.
Liccione.
It's like a pasta. You're going to be hungry by the end of the episode now. Thank you so much.
Who is an art educator as well, and a co-founder of Dubomedy.
Dubomedy, yes.
Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
I think we ended up giving Suheir all the tongue twisters.
I know, we were having her practice. Liccione, say it 10 times quick.
I said it right.
You said
many
it right
times.
every single
It's just
time.
that because you made me
Oh,
aware
I've
of
had
it.
much worse. On live television.
Oh, no.
On live television, someone was like, Mina,
Slowly.
latte chino. Yeah, I became a coffee drink. I was like,
Slash
wow.
pasta. Slash anything Italian.
Mina Licky one. That was the worst one.
No.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Oh my God.
Oh, it gets
Well, back
worse.
to our topic, ladies, please. All right, so we're going to start with a few questions to Tala, right? So, Tala, what kind of inspired you to want to be a surgeon?
So in the 4th grade, I think many people went through this where we each wanted to sharpen our pencils as small as they could be. And then we would compare and things like that. And whoever had the smallest pencil won. I don't know what they won.
Size matters.
I don't know.
Not always bigger the better. But size does matter. That's what she's saying.
Oh, goodness. We're not going to end this conversation. episode is going to be a long one. Leave seatbelts on, and no disclaimers. This is staying in. I'm not cutting anything off. But
And pencils are made of wood. That's it. I'll move on. Moving on. Okay. So
Yes.
please
So,
continue.
In the 4th grade, I was sharpening my pencil and I was focusing. Good student, of course, always.
Yeah.
And I had sharpened my finger. I still have the scar. So started bleeding profusely. Blood was dripping onto the table, down to the floor, and I was just so in awe. And I was just sitting there staring at my finger and the whatever bone or blood muscle, I don't know, that I could see. And I was just so in awe because it was the first time that I realized we're not just skin. Like, there's things under there, you know what I mean? And then quickly my bubble burst because my teacher yelled at me and told me to go to the nurse because I was just losing a lot of blood. But that's when I realized that I wanted to cut people open, but legally.
Didn't that scare you at that age?
actually scared
If I
them
were her
so
mother, I would be freaked
I
out.
love blush. I just want to cut people open.
But legally.
I love them.
To do good.
I would have two call outs over here. It's like she was bleeding and she's like, oh, interesting.
Blood.
Wow.
Oh my God.
My dad would always joke, it's either serial killer or surgeon.
Thank God you chose the second one. Thank God. So I understand that, the general view is that they'll always try to push female students towards general medicine and kind of push you away from surgery. How does that land with you?
So I always knew, obviously throughout the years you change your mind and whatever specialty intrigues you most, you go for that. But I always knew I wanted surgery and I was very much into adrenaline and everyday like trauma surgery. And at some point I wanted to be like a cardiothoracic. And now I'm really interested in orthopedics, or the bones. And I remember even in high school, I had a doctor who came and right before we graduated, he asked everyone what they wanted to be. So I said I wanted to be a cardiothoracic surgeon. And he looked at me and he's like, but how are you going to balance that with your kids? And I looked at him and I was like, I don't have any kids. I was like, and then I remember asking him, I always speak too much sometimes. So I remember asking him, I was like, do you ask all the boys that, whoever tell you that they want to be surgeons? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, I can guarantee that you don't. And they always just assume that I'm going to have such a hard time balancing and with my hypothetical children. And I'm just like, you know what? It's okay.
I find this very interesting, right? They'll always question a woman's ability to balance. They'll never ask a man, would he be able to balance? Because the question of balance never gets presented to men. It's always the woman. And it's never curiosity to know how do you do it? Because wow. No. It's with doubt. It is always when they ask you, would you be able to balance it? They're doubting you. They're putting you in a lane, right? Like, you will, for example, for me, right? People assume that I gave up marriage to actually pursue a career. My personal life it just never happened. Okay, it is what we call nasib or whatever, right? There is no either or. We have lovely women over here that are married and career women at the same time, and I just find it fascinating.
Even though women are better at time management and multitasking.
Yes, so true.
I mean,
it is true.
It's
I just find it very, very. So then you notice that he said when you asked your professor or doctor, right? Do you ask the guys that? Do you notice that technically they target because their gender or because of maybe intelligence or other features or the like?
I don't think it has anything to do with intelligence because genuinely speaking, I mean, if someone meets you, I was scrubbed into a surgery the other day. And this doctor was asking me, he was an anesthesiologist, I believe. So he was asking me, oh, what are you interested in? And I said, orthopedic surgeon. He looked at me and he literally looked at me, talked to bottom, and he's like, really? He's like, but like, you don't look like you could do orthopedic surgery.
Oh, look like.
Yeah, look like you could do it. And I was like, really? That's interesting. Why?
What are you
And
supposed
I
to look
love
like?
to bait them into it, right? So
Of
I love
course.
to just play around with it.
Oh, yeah.
I always come up with
You
different.
might as well have fun with it.
You might as well have
Exactly.
fun with it if I'm hearing this every day. So I'm like, oh, let's go really? Like, why? Why would you say that? And he's like, I don't know. You look a bit too weak. And I literally looked at him. I'm like, don't worry. I'm stronger than I look. I'm like, if I have to go train 10 times a day, I'll go train. I'm like, don't worry. I'm interested. Blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, you just always think that ortho people are these tall, big, muscular men. And I'm like, yeah, but it's okay to be different, right? He's like, yeah. What do you think about dermatology?
Oh, of
And I
course.
was like, interesting to whoever wants to do it. I'm doing surgery. And he was like, And I was like, what? Do you think I should do something that's more ladylike? And he said, yeah, probably. And I was like, okay, how about obs and gynae, which is female medicine.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, that's more males.
Oh my goodness.
Are you joking? So I literally looked at him.
You know, there's this old phrase that, like, you never trust a skinny chef.
I swear. So I literally looked at him and I was like, I was shocked, right? So
How are you going to talk to a woman about her, let's say, menses, if you ain't never had your menses?
Exactly.
And say that a woman isn't strong
I don't
when you
need-
never had your menses?
Exactly.
You look at that woman with her hair snatched in that beautiful gown, dancing on stage, doing choreography, staying up all night, getting straight alleys while bleeding. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
And then you say you're not
And then
strong.
he's like- So I literally looked at him and I was like, obs and gynae, the study of the female body should be men? And he's like, yeah. And I literally was like, oh, excuse me, I think someone's calling me. And I literally scrubbed out and I'm like, I cannot deal
It's
with
a
this
different
conversation
type of
anymore.
studying, a different type of field work.
This is probably where the switch, like if she stayed longer, she would have gone back to what her dad said, from a surgeon to serial
Literally,
killer.
like at some point you have to realize, like, okay, like I need to just shut up. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you're just like, I try. I reply back, and then I'm like, you know what? My career is
Not
too
even
important
worth
for
it.
me, so it's like not even worth it. Khalas, like they have whatever's in their mind, and I'm
My
just like,
goodness,
thank you so much.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like so like for orthopedic surgery, like what do you have to be like? Okay, so if you're a woman, right, but you were someone who hits the gym 7 days a week and really tall, like sort of, then that will, because you look it.
I honestly have no idea. Then maybe it'll
You're
be
not lifting the bodies.
like I don't know. Like
The bone's very
literally, but
It's
to
a
be
dense
fair,
bone.
To be fair, it does take a lot of muscle. To be fair. But like, come on. I mean, it's not how much I can bench press for me to be able to be an orthopedic surgeon. So like, I don't know. Then maybe they'll talk about something else, and if I'm too emotional, and if I don't know, I'm sure they'll find something else to bring up.
That's completely insane. I but kudos
But
to
it's
you
fun
to
to
actually
come up with responses.
you are parent, like I said. I think she's every day. You have to be careful because I think every day she's borderline to flip to the other side away from being surgeon.
Yeah.
Because if this goes on, but it is quite interesting how these are small little things that happen that technically they were saying stay in lane. You're a woman,
Exactly.
and especially with medicine, they assume like dentistry or dermatology or something nice and soft and sweet.
Or like family medicine, just give kids their vaccines and just say hello, bye-bye. And it's like,
Get the lollipops.
I know, that's what I should be doing.
Quite interesting.
Okay, so Mina, I have a question for you.
She said like 3 times, I think you said cardiovascular, right?
Cardiothoracic.
Thoracic.
Yeah,
and
so the
all I kept
curtain.
thinking of, and I have to say this before I forget, we have to make her a t-shirt that says Cardiothoracic Park. and get you a t-shirt that says that you can wear.
Possibly.
Yes.
Possibly. Yeah, I'll
Get
just write
scrubs.
like everything.
Get
yeah.
scrubs with like your dinosaur, like, don't mess with me. Don't mess with me. I'm
Exactly. I'm
strong.
coming for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Before I forgot though. I have to say
That's
that
a good one.
I like
That's
that.
a very good
We'll
one.
give
We'll
her
do
that for her birthday.
Thanks, guys.
That'll be good. The guys don't get one.
Yeah. No.
No, it's
Sorry.
only-
They're too big for it. They're too big and strong for it. Yeah.
Okay, speaking of comedy, where you have to say, you tell the truth in so many ways, in a jokingly way.
Inshallah.
Just a question, how was the reaction when you went to your parents or your friends and you said, I decided to be a stand-up comedian? stand-up comedian.
Well,
I heard.
I have a very different story and a very different kind of way in. And my experience was actually quite different from your beautiful daughters. I think for me, I started as a dancer. I started as a dancer at age 3, and I was extremely shy. But at home, I was always singing and I was dancing, and my dad is like funniest person I know, and he's always so full of life and laughter. But when I went outside, I was really, 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 really shy. Today they would say I'd have social anxiety, But so my parents put me in dance class. Because they were just like, okay, we need her to be more social and get over that fear. And that was my dad's cue to shout. And she hasn't shut up since. But I was blessed with parents and a family who very much supported the arts.
Nice.
And a lot of my friends did not have that at all. My parents' thing were, okay, you want to be an artist? We will support you. We will drive you to class. But you also need to get a job. So I taught dance so that I could get a discount on all my lessons. So they taught me, they're like, you have to fight. Yeah. And my dad was a boxing promoter, so he was like, you got to be tough. I don't care what your lane is that you are choosing. I will support it, but you got to work for it.
Amazing.
And he also said, okay, great. You want to go to New York. You want to be a dance major. You want to do Broadway. You want to do musical theater. Great. It's expensive. You better get a scholarship. So I had to get good grades, and I had to show up, and I had to be creative, and I had to be focused. But if it wasn't for their support, it wouldn't have happened. 100%. And back then, when I was a dance and theater major, there were so many women. There was very few men. There were so few men that I was the tallest, because I'm like 6 foot. I've been 6 feet almost since I was like 12. It's like everything grew and everything stopped. But I remember having to stand in the back with the guys because they didn't have enough men. So it was really funny. So there were some times when they were like, okay, we have to do partners. Okay, Mina, we're going to put a suit on you and a hat so that you can play the male character just for this dance scene, because they didn't have enough men. So finally, I had some balls. I had some cojones. And I said to them, wouldn't it be funnier if I was the girl and the really short little Ming Lin, her name was, what if she was the dude? What if she was the guy? And it became more about this comedy thing about this really tall 6 foot woman and a 4'10" girl. And we did a dance and we stole the show. Yeah. Absolutely stole the show. Everyone was laughing because when she tried to dip me, I felt like we didn't even have to fake it. So very early on, I knew that my sense of humor was my strength in anything that I did. And then from there, I went into, it was like Broadway show, and it was a show called Stomp, which is all percussion. So it's primarily men. The crew was guys, and out of 8 cast members, 6 are always men and 2 are women. So I was on tour with a lot of dudes, and that was kind of like, oh, okay. Oh, this is interesting. So that kind of prepared me for the shift into stand-up. And I didn't choose stand-up at all.
Wow.
Not at all. It chose me. It found me.
It's very interesting.
It found me, yeah. Because I was more like musical theater, TV, film, Broadway, Cirque du Soleil. That was my world. And then going into MC an event, and there was technical difficulties. So they were like, Mina, do something funny. Please just do something funny, and just making fun of the situation and improvising with people. And that's kind of how I started doing stand-up. And to be honest, at first, when people are like, you should do stand-up, you're really funny. At first, I was very hesitant because I was like, no, I don't think that's me. Because the stand-up comics at that time that I saw were very brash, were a lot of male energy, and some of them were very vulgar. And I was like, yeah, it's not me. That's not me. And somebody told me something that my mentor at the time, Jeff Raz, he told me something. He was just like, how there's no mask, there's no character when you do stand up. It's how you do it. It's you. So you do your authentic version of anything that you want to do. And that really changed everything. So a lot of times I would absolutely be the only girl on the lineup all the time. This happened a lot. And at one point everyone was like, have Mina host. And I was like, why would you want to have the only woman host? And they're like, because you dance and you can sing and you have the most energy and you're more welcoming. And, you know, they had this long list of reasons, but in reality, they just didn't want to stay for the whole show. They wanted to come, do their thing, and leave. And women are way more responsible. I always showed up on time. If someone was late, I switched the order. I would put together different lineups. They knew that, okay, Mina won't mess around. And women tend to do this. We tend to do this as we take care of more people. We're a bit more organized. We're more reliable. In many settings.
And that's what gives us more balance, actually. When we're talking about balance, that's the key thing to establish this thing.
Yeah, for sure. And when it comes with like families, because she was talking about, they said, how are you going to balance this, and this? It's so interesting because I just wanted to tell you that I became a mom at 40. I went back to Broadway at 40 for 25th anniversary of Stomp. And I also had my very first stand-up special on Comedy Central at 40.
Oh my God.
So girl, you got time.
Exactly.
And there's another thing about women who are artists and performing artists. Oftentimes, since I was very young, they always said, you gotta do it before you're 30. Better do it before you're 30 because once you're 30, you expire. That was something that I definitely had this pressure on. And I'm like, really? Because are you saying that to the dudes? I'm like, you're not. You're definitely not. And another thing that I think as a whole, that I know there's societal like norms and societal, lanes and different things, but something that really irks me at a certain point, it's like when I'm introduced all the time as, well, today we have a female comedian. I'm like, I'm just a comedian. You're not a female lawyer. You're a lawyer.
Yeah.
I don't hear people say, and now we're going to welcome to the stage a male CEO. Do you know what I mean? It's like, why do we have to have this female attached to it? It's like, no, she's a lawyer.
Yes.
She's a football player. She's a surgeon. She's a comedian. So even just having to, you know what I mean?
It's
like,
also conscious. Like they just put all of these things in.
But because I think also because it is a rarity. Like even when Mina came from the US, right? There were no stand-up comedians over here.
No.
She's technically the first stand-up comedian, female comedian, right? So it's you're a pioneer. So you're kind of breaking the mold.
You pave the way so that many others can follow. In a sense, you kind of get people used to this. Oh yeah, okay, all right. I'm not just gonna see a guy tonight. And I also still to this day, and I'll get this in my DMs and I'll get this in my comments without fail, or after a show. And it's not just men that say it to me. Sometimes women say this to me. You're really funny for a girl.
Oh my God.
I get
This
that too.
is
You're so funny.
Do you remember
my
when I
God,
told you what they
really
told
made
me at
laugh.
office?
Yeah.
For a girl.
I'm like, for a girl? I'm like, just say I'm funny.
Exactly. Like it's fun. I know I'm a girl. Thank you so much for
Thanks
telling
for
me.
reminding me.
It's crazy because in many cases us women underestimate our own talent as well, and we feel that we have to keep on labeling this or using that you're a female, you're a woman, you're a girl. It's crazy. We had so many discussions, and I think we have to have one
The
episode
whole
on
labeling.
this.
For example, I was telling her that when I joined a certain company, I'm an introvert, so I did my job, but everybody assumed I was a snob and a bee. Okay, and then when I did do a session on stage where I was talking about Ramadan, and of course I brought in my comedy a little on it because
always add humor.
Yeah.
That wakes everyone up.
so
It's a
the
gift.
comment after it was like, "Oh, you're funny. Oh, you're approachable. Oh, you can laugh." And you'll be like, where does that? So that labeling, right? People tend to label,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? So then the comedy is like, "Oh, for a girl, you're funny because." No comments.
Yeah.
we even did. We did. I won't say the name, but a big network. We're like, we're gonna do stand up. We're gonna do the first series in the Middle East, and we're gonna have like 30 different comedians, and everyone came together. I was the only woman.
30-something comedians.
I was the only woman
Wow.
for season 1. But for
And when was
season
that?
2, we had women. But there's 2 sides to this coin. One side, there wasn't that many women doing comedy at the time, but there was also, and I know some of these women because they've asked me a lot of questions, and I love questions, and I it's a vault, you know what I mean? What happens with Mina stays with Mina. You can, I'm like a comedy therapist, but a lot of women were like, yeah, I don't know if I want to be on TV. What if it doesn't make me look good, or what will other people think?
Yeah.
And they were just like, and some of them were like, my parents are actually supportive, but it's where I work isn't.
Yeah.
Or my friends' parents aren't. And so that was something I think really challenging. And I think being the first, there was a little bit of pressure in the sense that I wanted to do right by them. I really wanted to be like, all right, girls, yep, you can do this, and you can do it your way. They're not writing your material. You're writing your material.
Yeah.
It's about you. Whatever you're comfortable, whatever you want to say in your authentic voice is where you go. So that was that was a turning point in a sense. And also, like, we teach comedy, and in the classroom now, because you have me and you have my husband, so there's a lot of women who come to do comedy. Like, we have a lot of women now, which was not the case back in 2008. And it's amazing that the UAE in particular is very welcoming and very much kinder, and I like, if I go to a gig, for a comedy gig, I have, the person is waiting at the door, they're giving me water, they're giving me tea, they're saying, do you need a ride home, do you need this, do you need that? They do not do that in other countries. Like, they really, and my husband is a producer, and he gives that Arab hospitality. So I think that the traditions and the respect from the management wherever you work, that sets the tone.
Yeah.
100%.
I want to build off
100%.
what Mina was saying, and to Tala. So, I'm sure that what you face in challenges when you're studying medicine and the like, right? You see your other female students sort of probably the same struggle. Do you see that, taking off what Mina was saying, that, she's saying that women is like, yeah, I'm not sure because of someone else's opinion.
Yeah.
So do you see that shackles of others' opinions playing a role in what you guys are trying to study?
I think maybe it's not as obvious as, like, not wanting to perform and not wanting to do that, but I feel like we're trained to kind of be a lot more quiet and just go inwards more. So, for example, like, I always try to not fight back, but like, I always try to kind of fight back in a sense. Push back, yeah, exactly. Push back a bit, and then I stop before it gets too much. So, for example, like, there's this one surgeon, for example, and he's known, everybody knows him at uni, that he is the worst person ever to have rotations with, because he just spends the entire week screaming at the top of his lungs, no matter what. If you're a
That's very
minute late,
toxic.
if you're 5 minutes early, no matter what, he
If you're
will
early
scream.
too.
No matter what, he will
Wow.
scream at the top of his lungs.
He's Instagram comments.
I
The
swear.
comment section.
I swear.
No matter what you say, someone's going to
comments
be.
is worse,
It's
though.
Yeah, you
so
too. Oh.
bad.
Just
So it's
comments in
like
general.
I've asked a bunch of people, both guys and girls, and some of the guys say like, yeah, like I've tried to reply back, and like this one time I told him I'm walking out, and it's like, to a certain extent you have to realize like you're speaking to a consultant, you know what I mean, and there's that hierarchy, and then every girl friend that I've had who's had him just says, yeah, no, I just left and cried, and it's like, but why didn't you say like, okay, can you just like, in a nice way, just stand up for yourself and say something that's like, okay, well, do you mind like not speaking to me that way, or not doing this or not doing that? And they just, for example, refuse to go back. They contact the university and ask for them to be changed or whatever. And it's like, in that sense, I feel like as women and as girls, you really do just go inwards, and you're just like, I don't want to be too loud, I don't want to make a mess, I don't want to be too aggressive. And it's not really being aggressive, it's literally just standing up for yourself. And I think that's something that I've noticed a huge
It
difference
feels like
with.
as if we are, as women, some women push themselves into a lane that the society expects us to
Or
behave or
forces
be.
us by the upbringing. Like one of the things that Mina just mentioned, they come and they ask her, we will be labeled, or maybe our family will accept it, our friends will not accept it, etc. And I remember since we were young, you shouldn't be laughing loud, you shouldn't be joking in front of people. That's how we are raised. You have to sit in a certain way, you talk in a certain way. So this thing also, the upbringing and the way we are raised sometimes forces us into accepting things that shouldn't be accepted.
Yeah. You know, I think also with that,
Yeah.
it's really hard to find a balance, right? Because if you're not supposed to laugh too loud, but also if you're not laughing, then why are you being like nikde? Why are you just
Right. And
what's
manners
the
are
word?
important.
Exactly.
Manners are very
Definitely.
important.
Exactly.
I'm raising two fine Muslim Arab Italian men, and I mean, you better go say salam alaikum. You better walk them out. You better offer them food. Like manners shows as a sign of respect, and by all means. But there is a level, and the missing element is 9 times out of 10, it's confidence.
Yeah.
It is confidence. If you've been told to shush, 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 shush your whole life, you're gonna be fear. You're gonna fear that. And when I teach theater, and as a professor, I know when I walk into the room, the guys, and it's a mixed class, but naturally, the girls will be on one side.
Yeah.
And the boys will just naturally
You talked
happen.
about university. They do that
Yeah.
even at workplace.
work.
Even if
They
at the
just
workplace,
kind of
adults.
naturally
Always.
drift.
Yeah. It's like adults who've been working for 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
And, well, the first segregation is actually by groups and nationality.
Nationalities.
Yeah.
Okay? Everyone finds
They
their
find
own.
their little
and then
cliques.
within their own segregated group, then that's
Then the
the
women
second
and the-
layer of segregation of, or like,
just
it's
happens.
a circle
Exactly.
of whichever the nationality is. You'll find on the left side are the men, and they'll be talking to each other,
Yeah.
but the men are here and the women are
It's
here.
a comfort.
It is.
It's just a
definitely.
natural comfort. And one of the first things I do, specifically in my acting class, is because most of them, not all of them, have a fear of public speaking. A lot of them are engineers, girls and guys. And then we also have other majors, but primarily it's engineering.
They come for an art class.
Yes, because they
Amazing.
need a humanities, and they're like, I want to work with a comedian. We go
They
deep
did
into
like a dry
acting.
subject, right?
Yeah,
nice.
but they come in, and on day one, I have them say their goals. And I want a personal goal, and I want also a professional goal. And they just share it just within the circle. And the second day, I have each of them accept an award and give a speech. They have to write a speech as if they were accepting an award. And the second class, they come in and they each, and I will do roll call. Please welcome to the stage, Talal. She is Surgeon of the Year, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you
Give a
so
round of
much.
applause.
Thank you.
And they have to go up, and I can tell you for sure, the women in the room have the harder time even not looking at the floor. Some of the guys who are more into IT or more, there are some introverted guys that have a harder time as well. But by the end of class, those are the ones that shine.
Amazing.
You know,
Every
I was
time.
actually
'Cause
telling
they
Suheir.
have to do the work, and you see this transformation happen, and it's like
And it's also because they have someone, you telling them it's okay, like be loud, stand up.
they
say,
need this
yeah,
encouragement, and they
exactly.
have it. And you could see it in their eyes. They would not have signed up for this class
Yeah.
of any class that they could have chose. They specifically, and I have had a waiting list. But I see the transformation happen. And I also learned that because this happens, if I ask a question to the group, 9 times out of 10, a guy will shout out the answer.
Oh, yeah.
And I will see a girl, and I see her eyes, but she held back or she didn't. So what I will specifically do is I will, and I don't like to point at people because that feels very aggressive.
Yeah.
You know, when you point at someone, there's 3 fingers pointed back at you. But I will bounce and I will ask specific people. I will make eye contact with the person, and if they don't know the answer, I'll include the person next to them. Like I became really good at reading the room, but ensuring everyone has a chance to answer and letting them know there's no wrong answer here. True. We're improvising. This art is subjective.
Yeah.
Art is subjective. If you didn't like the movie that we watched, then that's your opinion.
Yes.
Let's discuss it. Why didn't you like it? Why did you like it? What didn't work for you? So having that very open conversation and really directing it to be inclusive, it changed everything.
Yeah.
It changed everything as a director, as a professor, but also as an artist. Because that's how I work. That's how I work
I was
with
telling
my crew.
Suheir that, you know, when usually women are given opportunities to speak about themselves, the first thing you'll hear, I said this to you, okay, that, oh, I don't know what to say about
Yeah.
myself. And there's a reluctance. And women
Not
usually-
me.
Well, you're fortunate. You're not a benchmark to put us. But it is.
I'm a unicorn here.
Yeah. But most women sort of, you know, they kind of sort of are reluctant to speak of themselves because the concept in the society is, oh, I don't want to brag about myself. I don't want to come up as,
They need her class.
I know, right?
Send them
Sign her up
over.
over
But
there.
there is, because they always say this too. It's just like, you know, your ego is not your amigo. But then you have to have confidence. There's like this really there's a sweet spot that is just about believing in yourself and saying, I am enough. And my voice does matter.
Yeah.
And you have to have, it's the people around you.
But that's the main reason
That's
why you
important
started
too.
actually this, because we know that as women, even if you believe on yourself and all that, the guidelines or the people, everything always tend to make you shy. You shouldn't be speaking loud. You shouldn't talk against others' opinion in many cases. And if you do, you will be pushed aside, okay, because it happened a lot actually. And that's why we said, trust yourself, be yourself, and be confident. This is the most important thing that one like me can pass to the next generation, to her daughters. And I have amazing 3 daughters that they are not shy of speaking up at all.
Maybe a
They're
little
not.
too much. So that's again, you need to balance it out.
Yeah, but I think it's very important
Yeah.
for everyone women to believe in.
On that note,
their
like, so
strength.
since we have
But
to
you
wrap
need
up,
support.
right? Yeah.
You need support.
So-
Of course, we have to support
That's
each other.
because I don't work in corporate. I don't work in corporate environments other than doing corporate trainings, but I work with a lot of people who do, and it makes me so sad when someone says, I don't feel like anyone in my office has my back.
Yeah.
And I just have to say, I'm like, well, then what do you do then? Do you leave? What happens? I'm asking the two of you, like, have you ever, like, if you're in this position where you don't feel like people support you in your team and in your office?
That's something that
That's
Suheir and I were
hard.
discussing. It's an episode we
Ooh.
want to talk about, is how you surround yourself with coaches and mentors. And if you
Yeah.
can't find them inside, you have to find them outside.
Yeah.
But you have to create your own support system.
Absolutely.
And you can't wait. So this is where sometimes, it gets me upset, that women become passive, and rather you should own this. If you can't get the support, take it. And like you ladies are standing up to yourselves. You're told, oh, the female comedian, and there isn't any one of this. You know what? I'm confident. I'll stand up for myself. I'll be there. I'll show you my talent. Talal here is saying, you know what? I want to be a surgeon. This is what I believe in doing. And you know what? I'll make things around me to create the support system. So if you in the university, you as student, as professors, find it challenging, guess what? I'll go to my mother, my sisters, my friends, and create my own support system.
And boundaries.
If I can just add a point to that, when you say, for example, I feel like women tend to try and work harder to showcase their work.
Because
and
you're
their
forced
thing.
to do it. You have
Exactly.
to prove that you
Exactly.
are qualified,
You have to
unfortunately,
prove it
much
always
more than...
because
we
people
don't
always
joke.
underestimate you. And I remember this one time we had a suturing, so the stitching course, and I remember this one guy who's with me is very competitive, and he rushed into class first, tried to pick the first table so he could be closer to the professor and everything, and I just sat back and I stayed quiet. And I remember we all sutured, and then the doctor came to me and he's like, oh wow, like, have you been practicing? And I don't know what, and he complimented my technique. And I could see that the guy that was next to me was so genuinely just like, why is he telling her and not me? And it's also really sad when someone gets so caught up in wanting to be the best, and it's like, but you're never going to be the best. You're always going to have people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the fact that we have to work 10 times harder to showcase, we're not even trying to show that we're the best. We're just trying to prove that we belong there. You know what I
You're
mean?
qualified.
Or qualified to do that. So
Yeah. So actually, we do have to wrap up with the time. So this is, I guess, I'll ask you, ladies. You just said, about what sort of the advice. If you could sort of sum up the whole thing, where you want to give a final message to women or the society or out there who are challenged with sort of words where they're telling them stay in lane. Stay, we've drawn these lines. As a woman, just do what you're expected to do.
Be a nurse rather than a doctor.
oh
for
my God, I've heard that so much. Or they just tell me like, oh, you're a nurse, right? And I'm like, no shade to nurses, obviously.
Yes, they work so
My
hard.
aunts, I have
Yeah.
aunts who are nurses.
No,
and
I
they
would
they
say-
work hard.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, haram. They work harder than doctors,
Hard,
maybe.
hard.
But I would say you belong in whatever lane you make for yourself. Honestly speaking, as simply put as I can. It's just like you belong where you feel like you belong. If you want to be an astronaut, be an astronaut. If you want to be a surgeon, be a surgeon. A comedian, be a comedian. A lawyer, be whatever you want. Just know that you're going to face backlash and know that you're strong enough to face it. That's it.
I think that life is meant to give us tests and challenges. Anything that's easy to get is not worth getting, and it's not real. It's not real if you're not going to go to school for all those years. And you know what? It's like, obviously there's no such thing as perfection, but for you have people's lives in your hands. You take that so seriously.
Yeah.
And you know what? All of that other noise, it doesn't
doesn't matter.
And getting to that point where you can turn off that external noise, that's where the beauty happens.
I know.
And I believe in God. I believe in God, and I very much believe that there are God-given talents in each and every one of us. And sometimes they don't reveal themselves right away. It takes time to reveal them. But it's up to us to master that craft. So you have to commit, you have to do the work, you have to turn off the noise. But also, dare I say, you have to have fun.
Yeah.
Because what's the point of following your dreams and doing what you love if you don't love doing it? Then then it's not worth the fight.
It's not fulfilling.
It's not. And I don't know if you've ever been to Lebanon or Egypt. But first time I went to Lebanon, I was shocked. There was people going like this all over the place. And they said to me, the lanes, they're just suggestions.
Yeah. Exactly.
So in the infamous words of my driver, the lines, Habibi, they are just suggestion. Choose your own lane, stick in it, and believe in yourself, and surround yourself with positive energy, because that changes the game.
Yeah.
Definitely. Amazing.
That's really
That's
great.
an amazing conclusion, actually.
I know,
don't know
right?
how we can say anything else.
Well, thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
ladies, for
You've
coming
been-
on
you
today.
guys.
This was, I hope, I'm not editing anything out of this, by the way, with all the madness, but this is the whole thing. Suheir and I try to be genuine to the session, to what we are. If we drift away from the main topic and add on, that's even better, because there are different aspects. We're not sticking to a lane, right? But thank you very much. This is really of great value. And thank you guys for watching us. Stay tuned to our episodes. They are every first and third
And we're going to
Wednesday.
have a graduation party.
Definitely soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mina Liccione. Okay, so stay tuned,
Salam
and we are
alaikum.
going to add our captions down. Make sure to follow and subscribe to all our channels and our socials.
And don't forget to write to us about anything or any topic that you want us to discuss. Because as we said earlier, the objective is to be honest, have honest discussions, open discussions with no filters, to make sure that we're paving the future for all ladies and the future generation.
No
to come.
filters unless you get arrested. We don't know you. Sorry. I don't know her.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very
I'm
much.
sure you will have my back.
I got you.
That's why she's got a lawyer on the show. Well, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, and clock out.